Anne-Renee, Testa, and welcome to Turning Point East, where each show can change the direction in your life. I'd like you to join me today in talking about the road less traveled and what you can do about it to make it happen for you. The road less traveled is kind of scary for some of us. It means taking a risk. And what does taking a risk mean? Well, it kind of goes back to a time when you were a little kid. But I want to go back a little farther than being a little 2-year-old, and that is to the time when you were born. Have you ever watched a seed pop up out of the earth and rear its head and push and pull and turn and finally come up out of the earth and struggle its way toward the sun? Think about that. Think about your birth. Think about what that must have been like. Think about what a wonderful, wonderful person you are. How pure you were when you were born, and how pure you are right at this very moment. Only the wind and the rain and all that other good stuff that comes into our lives, both from our environment and our parents. No one teaches parents about self-esteem. They may have had a little pile of it, they may have had a whole big pile of it. If they've had the latter, well, then they can give you a lot. But I think most people have had maybe not so much of it. And it's something that we need to relearn for ourselves, and it's definitely doable. There are so many things in our life that we kind of put in the path of taking the road less traveled. Taking the road less traveled. What is that? It means taking a risk. And in order to take a risk, what is the worst thing that can happen to you if you need to take a risk? Taking a risk might mean going into a new relationship. It might be a new job. It might be all the basics that happen from the minute you open your eyes in the morning. All the job and all of that stuff, those are all external things, because it's what you bring to the table of life that happens. This ain't no dress rehearsal. This is real, folks, and this is something that you have in your being. It's something that you have that is definitely possible and doable if you have the tools. Part of the tools, part of learning about what you need is so very basic. I study healthy people. In my workshops, I like to see people that want to move forward, not victims. We can all victimize ourselves, and why should we, for one moment in our life, victimize ourselves by our environment? If we get back to that basic concept that we were born beautiful. Think about it. Think about that seedling, and think about how pure and beautiful that seedling was. And think about yourself and your birth and how pure. There aren't any bad seeds. There aren't any bad people. You have all the goodness within yourself to do whatever it is you want to do. But one thing that's very important, and that is taking responsibility for yourself. Understanding that you are responsible for everything that happens in the course of your day. You're responsible for it, not someone else, not anyone out there. Don't blame people, because that's not going to help you. Blaming and judging are all a waste of your time. You have such valuable time here on earth, and no one knows how much time they have. So why not do it now? Why not take responsibility for yourself now? And stop carrying around the diaper full of doo-doo, you know? I mean, we all carry that baggage around with us. Who needs it? It's the thing that drags us down, and it's the very thing that allows us not to take the road less traveled. Because that same old road is just that same old script that we've been carrying around with us. It's a script. That's all it is. We've just laid it out and said, this is what I'm going to do. So, for example, if you want to lose weight and you try all those external things that help you to lose weight, that's outside yourself. What about saying to yourself, I don't need any of that. All I need to do is not put the stuff in my mouth that's fattening. Why can't you say that to yourself? Instead of saying, well, I'm going to get this fast and that thing and that the other thing. Is it going to help? You're going to go right back to your old habits, your old routine, and that same old road instead of taking the road less traveled. But some people are married to that road less traveled, and they need to get off. You know, stop the world, I want to get off. I want to get off that track. I want to get off and go to the road less traveled, because that road, while it feels as though you emotionally have to take a bunch of machetes and literally machete your way through that road because it's something new for you, I'm telling you that it's doable. It's something that you can do for yourself. No one else can do it for you. This isn't a 12-step process. I have a one-step process. The one step is you. The one step is that you're responsible for everything that happens in your life. Everything from the minute you get up in the morning. So if you decide you want to do some exercise and you say, oh, well, I can't do it. I've got this and I've got that and I've got the other thing. We can all find excuses as to why we don't do what we do. But trust me, if you have that positive mindset in your mind every day, from the minute you get up in the morning until the minute you go to sleep at night, you'll find that you'll be taking the road less traveled, and that risk will get less and less. And you'll find that every single day is so much richer for you as a result of taking that little risk. And you have to say to yourself that you're a beautiful person. You are a beautiful person, each and every one of you. I don't know who's out there listening to this, but I do know you, because you are me. I've done that risk. I've moved that. I've moved those mountains. I know what it means to do all that, because when I go way back into my background, when I think about it, and my mother cut open this beautiful yellow lemon, and I said, oh, isn't that a beautiful lemon? And inside it was rotten. And I said, oh, Mom, that's just like me. Beautiful on the outside and rotten on the inside. Why should anyone think anything but the best of themselves? Why should anyone let any external influences make them feel less than a magnificent person? It comes from inside out. It doesn't come from out there. So you need to climb that mountain. You need to take that road less traveled. And yes, there is a risk. The risk is that you're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel like such a magnificent human being if you just try it, because you're worth it. You are worth taking the risk. Don't ever let go of that. Be relentless about it. I don't care what comes in your path other than a brick falling on your head, which you had nothing to do with, or a car accident. We have lots of things that happen in the course of our lifetime, lots of things that come in our path, lots of things that can embitter us. And yes, there are tragedies, and we have to get through those tragedies. They exist all around us. It's part of the human condition. But what we do with those tragedies is the key. You know, I end every show by saying experience is not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens. And that is the key. Hear the words. Experience is not what happens to you, because that's victimhood. It's what you do with what happens. It's all in your hands, and you are fully responsible for the responses. So if someone says, well, I'm looking for a relationship and I can't find a man, or I can't find a woman, what's that all about? What does that mean when you think about I can't find a man or I can't find a woman? That's desperation, folks. Who wants to be desperate about finding someone else to hook into, huh? Where is your responsibility in a situation like that? Make yourself an interesting person, and I guarantee you, you're going to meet people. But How do you make yourself an interesting person? Be interested in things that are out there. Take a look at yourself. Say, what is it that I like? And I guarantee you there are people out there who say, oh, I don't like anything. There's nothing that I like out there. You can't tell me anything that's really going to make a difference. That person will never hear these words. That person doesn't want to take the road less traveled. And that person, I guess I can't really help because they don't want to help themselves. I want to help people who just have that much that say, yes, I want to learn. And can you get self-esteem in a half an hour, listening to me for a half an hour? If you can get one gem, if one thing that I say in the course of this short time we have together makes some sense to you, take it with you with both hands and say that it's something that you can do to enrich your life because you're worth it. No matter what the messages are out there. You go into a supermarket, you go on a bus, and the bus driver looks at you with a hairy eyeball, or your boss gives you an argument. Does that mean that you need to crawl inside yourself and just say, oh, it must have been my fault. I know it must have been me. They didn't confirm me. Nobody can confirm you. Your parents can't confirm you. It's not their job. The bus driver can't confirm you, or your boss. Those are all externals. It's got to come from inside you and that positive mindset. Stay with it. Be relentless. Never let go of it. From the minute you get up in the morning, never let go of that positive mindset. And hey, I know that things happen. I know all about it. It happens to me. But it doesn't happen to you. It's what you do with what happens. There are tragedies all around us in our lives. But you take it, you deal with it, and you compartmentalize it. Even if someone's in a wheelchair, there are magnificent things that people do when they're disabled in one way or another. Magnificent things. There are some people that sit back and say, I'm a victim of the situation. And yes, indeed, they are a victim. Or there are other people that run marathons, that do marathons in wheelchairs. I've done 5 marathons race walking. I've seen these people. I know what their struggle, I've seen their struggle. No, I can't crawl inside their skin and know what their struggle is. I feel for them, but one thing I see in them, one thing I see in their faces is that determination, that they never let go of that determination. And that's what you need, is determination. To take the road less traveled, you must practice it 24 hours a day. And at the end of your day, say a prayer to yourself. Stay with it. Don't mull over all the negative things. That's easy. I mean, that really is, in the long run, very difficult because it makes a shambles of your life as opposed to in making your life rich for yourself. You're worth it. Remember that you're worth it. Don't ever let go of that feeling of self-worth. It's like that little seedling. You are that seedling. You are that perfection. And talking about perfection, you don't have to be perfect. Guess what? You don't have to be perfect. We make mistakes. That's part of the human condition. It's great to make mistakes. I interviewed JoJo Starbuck on one of my shows, and she said that her mother said every time she fell down or she didn't do the timing right or whatever, JoJo's mom would say, "That's great. Look at what we can learn from that mistake. You've lost your job? No, it's not easy to lose a job. No, there isn't food on the table, but look at that as an opportunity and see what you can do that might be totally unrelated to that job that you may have had for all those years. Look at it as an opportunity. Dig deep inside and say, what was it that I always wanted to do in my life and I've been locked into this job and couldn't do? What was it that I could do that was different? Look at it as an opportunity. See life and everything that happens to you in your life as an opportunity. You are capable of doing it all. You really are, and you can be at peace with yourself. It doesn't mean jump out of your skin and do everything 24 hours a day. It means to be at peace with yourself and search until you find that beauty. And that beauty is there this very moment. Don't let go of it. It's there. Don't look at the relationship, the job, the kids, the yeses and the nos, and the people telling you all around you what you should be, how you should be. Don't let anyone make those decisions for you. You are capable of making decisions, and guess what? If you make a wrong decision, what's the worst thing that can happen? It's not life and death. Life goes on, even with those bad decisions, and we've all done them, folks. I can tell you, we've all made those bad decisions, but we learn from them, and that's the beauty. Don't be afraid to take a risk, because taking a risk is a learning process. And just see, it's sort of like going through a door and not knowing what's on the other side of that door. And you know something? There's always a garden at the other side of that door. Every time I do a show and they do the countdown, I kind of think of jumping into a pool of crocodiles because it's a little scary. But you know what? I also think about swimming to the other side, being unscathed, jumping out of the pool, and people applauding and people saying, "Hey, you did it!" What better vision can you have for yourself than to say, "Hey, you did it. What's wrong with it?" No, there aren't going to be crocodiles that are going to eat you up. Even if you make a mistake, I promise you, there aren't going to be any crocodiles. The whole world can be filled with crocodiles for you if that's how you perceive it. Walk into a dark room. See what that fear feels like. You might not be fearful, okay? I know I've experienced that. I've done it because I used to be afraid of the dark. And I did an exercise, about a year ago, just to see what demons were going to be hiding there. And I had visions of what those demons were going to be. And I locked the door. I didn't lock the door. I closed the door behind me, and the room was pitch black. And guess what? After the fear kind of quieted down, I was fine. I said to myself, Anne-Renee, you have yourself, and it's okay. You have yourself. Do you hear that? Self. The New York Times said, the best investment may be yourself. And I've broken down the words to saying yourself, because your self belongs to you. It doesn't belong to your husband or wife. It doesn't belong to your children. It doesn't belong to anyone out there. And guess what? When you take care of yourself, it's not being selfish. When you take care of yourself, you can take care of the world. You see how the world opens up for you when you fully take care of yourself. You'll find that your relationships become much richer. You'll find that your job opens up to you an avenue that you never thought before. You become a team player. You get to understand what being a team player means, because you don't have to be in the center of attraction all the time. It's okay. It's really okay to be a part of a team and know what it means. You're not giving up yourself to anyone.